We're now going to discuss the normal distribution. So there's many different continuous probability distributions, and the normal distribution is the one that we often find. Now, the actual formula for normal distribution is a bit crazy. It's f of x is 1 over, that's a standard deviation, root 2 pi e, where e is the base of the natural logarithm, so it's a number, 2.718, to the power of minus 1/2 x minus mu. You may recognize this, actually. This is the z. This is the formula for the z-score. So it comes up in normal distribution. You don't need to know that. Right now we're going to be kind of approximating the normal distribution. I'm going to show you some things about it. So here's the normal distribution. I've kind of pre-drawn a picture about it because it takes time to draw it. So the normal distribution has a kind of bell shape. The mean is in the middle. It's symmetrical around the middle. And the normal distribution is defined such that, so each of these dashes, if you could see the bottom, is a standard deviation away. So that's the mean. A standard deviation later we have the mean plus 1 standard deviation, and then the mean plus 2 standard deviations, mean plus 3 standard deviations, and minus a standard deviation, minus 2 standard deviations, minus 3 standard deviations. And part of what we know about a normal distribution, the way the function is defined with the equation, is that there's a 68% probability of being within 1 standard deviation of the mean, 95% of being within 2 standard deviations of the mean, and 99.7% probability of being within 3 standard deviations of the mean. So, if we take a look at it, if 68% probability of being over there, that means there's about a 34% probability of being here, and a 34% probability of being here. If there's 95 in the whole thing, 5 minus 16 is 13.5. So there's an extra 13.5% of being there. And then 9.7 minus 2.35. And a 2.35% of being there. And this actually, with the normal distribution, this doesn't end over here. It asymptotically approaches 0. So this curve keeps on going. There's always a probability of being very far away from the mean. It just takes a pretty long time to get there. So from here all the way out to infinity is going to be 0.15%. And from here all the way out to infinity is going to be 0.15%. So we're going to use this kind of chart to try and figure out a question. So what I have here is I have the mean height of boys in a town, some random unnamed town, is 172 centimeters with a standard deviation of 7 centimeters. What is the probability that a boy picked at random will be taller than 165 centimeters? Okay, so I'm going to sketch a normal distribution. So what we have here is we have that the mean is 172 and the standard deviation is 7, and we want the probability that a value is bigger than 165. So the mean is 172, and then 1 standard deviation away is going to be 179, plus 7 is going to be 186, subtract 7 is 165, 158. Now what we want, so this is kind of our distribution things, we want the probability that it's bigger, so bigger than 165. So we want this entire probability over here. And you could pause the video and try to figure it out yourself based on the percentages we have on this thing over here. So we know that half of it, this is symmetrical. So this half is 50%. And we know from the mean to 1 standard deviation below is 34%. So what that tells us is that the probability, if we add the two together, is going to be 50 plus 34, which is 84%. So the way we're going to write that is the probability that x is bigger than 165 is equal to 84%. Okay, so same town. Now we want to know what's the probability that they're between 158 and 179. So again, I'll sketch it. The middle is 172, 179, 186, 165, 158. And what we want is we want it to be between 158 and 179. So between 158 and 179 is over there, which is going to be 34%, 34%, and 13.5%. If we add this together, we're going to get 68 plus 13.5, 81.5. So therefore the answer would be, and the way we would write it, is that the probability that 158 is less than x, which is less than 179, is going to be 81.5%.